Hi everyone! Okay, today I want to talk about transitioning your child from your room, okay, co-sleeping, but either sharing a bed with you or having a bassinet on the side or a cot in the side of your bed or somewhere in the room to their own room, okay? So when is the best time, when not to do it, things like that. Okay, so when you transition a child, you need to think about a few different things, okay? So one of them is yourself, okay? So obviously, I don't recommend having your newborn sleep in their own room. If you want to, look, it's up to you. But from a SIDS recommendation point of view, obviously, the recommendation is to have your child sleep in the same room as you until about 6 months old. Okay, so for newborns, I do not recommend having them in your own room from day one. It is SIDS risk. It's higher when they don't sleep with you, as well as, look, they're up every 3 hours or so for feed, and you're just going to make your life so much harder if you have to get up and go to your room, things like that, okay? So babies under 3 to 4 months, definitely in your room. Now, if your baby starts sleeping better, just waking up once or twice for a feed, you can start transitioning them into their own room if you want to. Look, I did transition my boys into their own room about 4.5 months. They were sleeping about a 10-hour night and then just waking up once, so I didn't mind, and I kind of wanted my room back, you know what I'm saying, and not needing to sort of, not that they will hear anything, but I just wanted my space back. And so and look, they were sleeping fine, and so we decided to make that move, and that's okay. All right. And so around that time, 3-4 months, 4.5, 5 months, if you want to make that transition, great, you can start doing that. You can start by having them nap in their own room first and then nighttime sleeping with you. Or the other option as well for nighttime is that you can have them have their night sleep in their own room first for the first part of the night, and then once they wake up in the middle of the night for a feed, you bring them back into your room. That can be an option too, okay? If you wanted a more gradual transition as well. So at the 6-month mark, okay, around then, your baby starts to form an emotional attachment to materials, things. That's why you find that using comforters and pacifiers, things like that, your baby will start attaching to them. So from that point on, okay, it's a really good idea to start thinking, okay, do I want to get my baby attached to the fact that my room is also their room? Or you want to start having them associate their room as the place where they sleep, okay? So whenever you do something in parenting, you want to bear in mind their emotional well-being, and these are creatures, little human beings that are just developing, so a lot of times they don't understand what's going on. So we need to have empathy and really try to protect them in a way, okay, and really set themselves up for success. So my ideal recommendation is to transition them around the 6-month mark or just before, okay, so that they can start forming a good, strong, healthy association, a good association, a positive one of sleep in their own room, okay? So what if your child's older and you're thinking about doing that? No problems, okay? You might just need to do some work such as, room acclimation, cot acclimation. So getting them to play in a room, showing them that this place is a happy place, it's a safe place, it's a peaceful place. You'll start sleeping in it soon, just depending on their age, okay? Ideally, okay, the latest time you want to transition them, at the latest, okay, is around 13-14 months. Look, if you want to transition them after that, it's fine too, but if you have a choice, I would say do it before that stage. If you if you're wanting, even if you feel like 6 months is too early and you're wanting to hang on to your baby sleeping in a room for as long as possible. And the reason for that is because when you hit the 13, 14 month mark, your baby or your child, now your toddler, goes through another mental leap where they learn, okay, cause and effects, like if I do this, what will happen, and boundary pushing, so to speak. Okay, they're not pushing boundaries for the sake of pushing, but they're just figuring out where they stand and where their space is. Okay, and so what happens is that if you transition them later on around the 14, 15 month mark, you can do it. Look, it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. Nothing's too late. But what you'll find is that you'll come to a lot of resistance, okay? They'll start pushing. They'll start crying a bit more, protesting. And look, you know, if you don't have a choice, no problems. But if you do, don't put yourself through that, okay? Plan in advance what you want to do based on the knowledge that you have and about your child, and go from there. Okay, so that's around the 13, 14 month mark. Otherwise, if you want to have them sleep in your room, then I would say, for the sake of their own emotional well-being, keep them in your room until they're ready to transition to a big bed, okay? Around 2.5 for girls and 3 for boys. And again, it's all about mental maturity and understanding what's going on. And so what you don't want to do is, when your child's in the thick of boundary pushing, okay, that stage, you know, where they're learning and discovering themselves, who they are, where they stand, all that are healthy signs, but that is just a phase that they need to go through, is for you to then transition them, you know, say they're 2 years old, and then you transition them in your own room, and then you encounter all these issues, okay, that it's not necessary to a certain point. And so if you find yourself in that stage, no problems. What you do is you just keep your child until they're ready to transition to a big bed. Now, the reason why I don't recommend you transition to their room with a cot and then transition a big bed, is it's just too many transitions. You know, think about when you moved house. It takes a while to settle in, right? Let alone a new location, in a new suburb, in a new state, or in a new country. So in a way, it's the same thing for your child, okay? When you move a room, that's all they ever known, and their comfort, and they spend quite a bit of time in that room. So say if they're sleeping in your room at the moment, they're sleeping at least 12 hours at night in your room. And then for naps as well, if you're doing it there too. Now, all of a sudden you're saying, hey, you know, half of your day, 50% of your life, you're not going to sleep in this room anymore. We're going to move you over to that side. It's quite a big shock. And then on top of that, you know, you're moving them to a cot, and then you get all settled, all fine, push through all the challenges, manage to get them to sleep well in your own room, in the cot. And then, oh, okay, they're 3 years old now. It's time to move to a big bed. Okay. It's non-stop, so you don't want to do that. Okay, long story short, I've gone on quite a long time about this. In summary, have your newborn under 3 months sleep with you in your room, okay? That's the best recommendation. 4 months, okay? And then between 4 to 6 months, look for readiness. Look for, you know, if your child's still waking up every few hours to feed, then of course don't move, okay? It's going to be hard on you. But if your child's sleeping through the night, okay, or, you know, sleeping a big chunk of the night, only waking up once, it's at most twice, then you could potentially look at transitioning, either just doing it cold turkey like that, or doing naps first, or the first part of the night, and then just slowly easing into it. It's more for you. Your baby won't know any differently at that age. And then definitely the ideal scenario is at around 6 months, 7 months, okay? Just getting your child to understand that this is their room. They understand now by that age, yeah? And then, you know, as your child gets older, between 6 months to 14 months, it just gradually gets a little bit more challenging to transition. Not impossible, but it will take more and more effort on your end, more time, okay, to ease into it. And then definitely by 14 months, you want to be able to transition your child into their own room in their own cot if that is the lifestyle of sleeping that you want to do for your family. Otherwise, maybe perhaps have a think about maybe just having your child sleep with you until they're ready to transition to their own bed, big bed in your room. And that's 2.5 for girls and 3 for boys. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Any other topics that you want me to talk about, let me know and I will do a little video for you. Okay, bye.